Hey folks, welcome back to the podcast, the Evil Dungeon Master Universe podcast. This is the Evil Dungeon Master Vince, and it is Monday morning after a very, very torrential downpour weekend of rain, and power outages here in my area of Texas, that is. We got hit with a major storm yesterday, got me trapped when I went out, so it took me a while to get back home. But I'm home, everything's fine, power's back. What I wanted to talk about today is something that most people just kind of brush off when it comes to spells. And don't forget the evildm.com. Ask the DM at evilDM.com is my email address. Now that we got that out of the way, on to spells. 7th level spell, Limited Wish by a magic user. Now I'm just going to take a look at it from 1E, AD&D 1E, and then I'll look at it 3E. 5E has a completely different off-the-rail way of handling it with a Warlock Genie, and the Genie allowing you to grant you certain abilities that you can use and do, and it's just not the same spell, so it's not even worth chatting about at that point. But what I see what they did, they kind of took the 3rd edition version and kind of expanded upon it and everything. But let's talk about the Limited Wish spell itself. It is a 7th level spell. It's unlimited range, duration is special, area effect special. Component is just verbal. Casting time is special, saving throw is special. A Limited Wish is a very potent but difficult spell. It will fulfill literally, I don't know why it's worded like that. It will literally fulfill should be the other way, but only a partially or limited duration it will last for. The utterance of the spellcaster. Thus, the actuality of the past, present, or future might be altered, but possibly only for the magic user, unless the wording of the limited wish is more carefully stated in some limited manner. The use of the limited wish will not substantially change major realities, nor will it bring wealth or experience merely by asking. The spell can, for example, restore some hit points, or all hit points for a limited duration, lost by the magic user. It can reduce an opponent's hit probability or damage. It can increase duration of some magical effects. It can cause a creature to be favorably disposed to the spellcaster, and so on. The limited wish can possibly give a minor clue, or a minor clue to some treasure or magical item. Greedy desires usually end in disaster for the wisher. Casting time for the actual is actually a number of seconds because you're basically just uttering the phrase limited wish. So that's the spell itself as written in the book. Now, adjudicating this as a dungeon master sometimes can be difficult because the limited wish is not a full wish. It's limited, obviously. So based on the wording, let's see here. Difficult to be fulfilled literally, but only partially or for a limited duration. That kind of tells me that the spell is powerful enough to do something upon the magic user's request, but not long term and nothing way too major that will break the campaign or destroy something. Or I would say a limited wish would be adjudicated because every dungeon master is different. Every dungeon master reads these differently, and there's really no advice in the dungeon master guide that I found. I'm sure there's a dragon article out there somewhere from Gary or from Roger Moore or even Tim Kask that talks about limited wish and some ways that you can use it in your campaign, and some advice. But the way I've always handled limited wish is that just wait for wish for one. If you're going to use this stuff, limited wish doesn't aid you like regular wish possibly could, and everything that you do with limited wish is just for a short period of time. So you could ask for more hit points. You could ask for your arm to grow back if you lost your arm because it's limited. These are possibilities under limited. I generally will handle it as in you get what you want if it's a major thing for a limited time. If it's something small enough and not greedy, like for example, I want my arm back, I don't want this scarring to be gone from my face. I want this curse to be gone that I have. I want this poison to be gone. Things like that generally will work. And if you're using it for another person, which it says you don't, it doesn't necessarily say you can't use it for another person. It just says uttered by the magic user. Some of the situations do refer to just the magic user, but it doesn't say you can't use it for somebody else. And I, as a dungeon master, if you're using it to help someone else, such as a party member or maybe an NPC for some reason, and then I would probably give it to you depending on how much of the ask it is at the time. If it's something that's going to break a campaign, obviously, no, it's not going to work. I would also allow minor treasure to be obtained. Like if you use the limited wish because you needed 5,000 gold because you needed to buy a bunch of stuff for your party so you can travel across the land, I might just allow that. Maybe you're wishing to fix up something of yours, like a castle or something. I probably would allow that. It's just when it gets too much. Oh, I wish for 1,000,000 gold pieces. It's just like, no, you sure. Here's your 1,000,000 gold pieces, Clud, on top of you. And then Clud, it's gone. There, you're gone. You leave 1 gold piece. Enjoy. No. It's some one of those spells that's subjective to who the dungeon master is at the time. And some dungeon masters will just be like, yeah, that's fine. No big deal. I just think this spell is, since it's limited, you can't go too far with it. Very minor things to use with it. Let's see, third edition actually kind of changes it a little bit. A limited wish lets the character create nearly any type of effect. A limited wish can do any of the following. So they do give you some good examples. Duplicate any sorcerer, wizard spell 6th level or lower, provided the spell is not from a school or prohibited to the character. Interesting. Duplicate any other spell 5th level or lower. Same concept. Duplicate any wizard, sorcerer spell, blah, 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 blah. Duplicate any spell 4th level as long as it's not 4th level or lower is prohibited. Undo the harmful effects of any other spell. Have any other effect whose power level is in line with the above effects. One thing that 3E added to it was not only was it verbal, but an XP cost to do it. Duplicated spell allows saving throws and spell resistance as is normal, but DC saving blah blah blah. When a limited wish duplicates a spell that has an XP cost, because there was an XP cost for some spells, the character must pay that cost or 300 XP, whichever is more. When a limited wish spell duplicates a spell that has with a material component that costs more than 1,000 gold pieces, the character must provide that component. So they kind of added a little more stipulation to it based on what they wanted. And 5th edition kind of blew it out of the water with the whole, you make a pact with one of the rarest kind of genies and noble genies, such as entities that rule a vast blah, 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 blah. And you choose your patron, and the genie comes out. There's a certain type of genie, and there's a certain amount of spells that he'll cast for you to help you. And it's not really that grand. I mean, you can get a wish spell out of him, I guess, because it's listed on the chart, but I don't see that happening that often. It's mostly things like you can have detect good, evil and good. You can have phantasmal force. You can create food and water. Things like that. I don't like the fact that you're creating a vessel and asking a vessel to do it for you, and it's just a magic user or the wizard who was able to do it before. So, not my cup of tea, but hey, someone else might like it. So back to 1E, which is where we started at here. Again, anything greedy will just end a disaster right away for the wisher, just like with the regular wish spell. Now, when running wish itself, yeah, sure, I will get a little lawyery wordish with players because that's how I was grown up with D&D. I was always like, that's how I got my name, the Evil Dungeon Master. It wasn't because I was killing people in the sessions. Sorry, characters in the sessions, not people, because I'd be in jail. It was mostly because I would twist the words or twist the spells or twist this or that. And Wish was one of the ones that was easy enough to twist because the way it was written, and Gary even gave massive advice on this over the years about it's fulfilled to the letter. So if they write it a certain way or say it a certain way, that's how it's going to happen. And if they mess up, oh well. So, I mean, wishes will break a campaign. So just trying to keep them out. That's why they're a very high spell. And if you do place them out for them to find, make sure it's not a low level campaign because that might break your campaign. You don't want that. Anyway, tell me what you think about Limited Wish. How do you use it in your campaigns? I'm interested to hear other DMs' interpretations of the spell. You can send it in to askthedm at theevildm.com, or you can check it out on my Facebook, on my YouTube channel, which the podcast goes up there as well. And you can comment, and you can like, and you can subscribe to the video. Hit that bell notification there if you're on YouTube, so you get more daily podcasts and more videos that are coming out this week. With that said, I'm going to head out, keep it original, keep it old school. Remember, no drama, no clickbait, and all gaming here on this channel. Good night, everybody. Adios.